Hey, high integrity product creators, brand managers, and marketing directors. I am going to make a wild guarantee. I will guarantee you a minimum of $50,000 return for every $5,000 you invest with me, or you don't pay me a penny. Essentially, I specialize in a really overlooked piece of revenue generating genius you might not really think about, the missing foundation. Some might call it programming the customer's mind so they buy. Others call it psychologically activating a sale, but that doesn't quite cover the depth either. And many mistakenly think that hiring a sales copywriter, optimizer, graphic designer, traffic generator, or marketing expert will generate the same results. Let me explain a little. I specialize in constructing the invisible code, much like what your computer programs have, the code that your customer subliminal mind must process to anchor your product as the superior one to buy, the go-to solution amongst all of your competitors, the alpha dominator in your market. What renders it superior to the 18,000 others on Amazon so your customers buy, what renders it superior to the 30,000 others on Google so your customers buy, and superior to all the different solutions at 4 of the 5 customer awareness levels that prospects must see to generate an outcome like yours, just in different form. This really renders your product uncopyable and all of your copycat competitors irrelevant, no matter how deep their pockets are or how cheap their offering is, right? So there's no question that your product is superior, which is especially important during this product post apocalypse where every competitor seems to claim the same features and benefits and outcomes as the product you sell. And maybe you're struggling not to do the exact same thing and to actually, get yourself to the point where customers understand fully and activate that sale, right? So this subliminal code creation is literally the fuel behind your actual sales, without which your sales copy, your graphic design, advertising, traffic, keyword optimization, website build out, all the layouts, all the sales funnels, all of that will fall painfully flat. Okay. So this particular fuels, informs, and guides your actual sales behind your sales copy and graphics and commercials and ads. It also helps your leaders and agencies and brand managers and other teams. It informs them and guides them on what it is that they're supposed to write in their sales assets and what it is that's going to get you the outcomes that you, the product creator, or, if you're working for the owner or the product creator, that they desire. And it's not the benefits, features, outcomes, nor the product you're selling. I've done this with over 4,000 products. It doesn't matter what you're selling. And it's, although I do especially well in that FDA, anything that's like in or on the body market because of my medical legal background, and in the high tech market because of my tech background. And it's definitely not keyword optimization. Okay. We're more at level 5, where keyword optimization is at I'd say like level 1 or level 0. Okay. So no matter what, whether you've launched 5 products or 1,000, I still guarantee you 3 key results. Okay. Key result number 1 is I'm going to uncover and create the secret sauce, this code that informs your customer and fuels your product sales and fuels them seeing your product as that alpha go-to solution. Even if your features aren't as fancy as your deep-pocketed competitors, even if you can't afford the $1 million a month that ad agencies spend on these big name brands that are household names, right? So I'll come in and uncover and create what makes your high integrity, your high compliance product, an alpha product dominator, basically, right? So, and again, this has zero to do with your product features or benefits and everything to do with how we subliminally code the human mind. Okay. Number 2, I'll come in and I'll transform these insights into the neuromarketing millions blueprint. Okay. The alpha product domination blueprint. This is going to inform your KPI drivers and your leaders and your teams, what they need to do and where they need to, what they need to use as the core for their sales, right? This is also going to fuel all of your sales asset creators. So this is going to give your sales copywriter, your graphic designers, everybody else who is looking at the features, benefits, and transformation and stuck there, and they're stuck copying everybody else and everybody else's positioning and differentiation. This is going to give them what you are, where you're rich, what your core is. This is also going to anchor customers to your product as a superior product when compared to the competition, which is incredibly important on any of these search engine response platforms like Amazon or Google Shop or Etsy or Shopify, or anytime they're competing with anything else they've already known about in the past. We don't know exactly what they've known about in the past, but we know how to create something that can render all of that competition irrelevant. Okay. And number 3, and this has really become an important thing for a lot of people, I stay by your team's side through the implementation, right? So success is 100% guaranteed. And what I mean by that is I will advise you on where and how to infuse this. I will consult with you when your team feels stuck on how to implement this or if they have any questions. And I will even step in when needed and power up the current assets you have, so you're not creating everything from scratch, okay? Because a lot of what you have may already be really beneficial, but it's just not beneficial enough to position you as that alpha product. Okay, so how in the world can I tell you that I can turn $5,000 you invest with me into 50,000? Okay, and it's for every 5,000. Some projects are larger, some things take more effort, so that's not a actual pricing. That's just an example. Okay, so it's really simple for me. 10x, which is 5,000 times 10 is 50,000, is really minuscule. Okay, I've helped products deliver more than $5 billion in sales to their creators online. 5 billion. Okay, so look at my 13-year track record. I've done some really tricky projects, and I've done some really that things that other people thought were tricky and been able to go in and fix them in a matter of hours. It's knowing where to hit the engine, with the hammer. It's not the amount of time you pour into it. It's actually getting the people to the point where they get the sales they want with this amazing product they've created, right? So I helped a premium shower filter go from being swallowed up because of everybody else was creating more and more and more stages in their shower filter. They were going from being swallowed up to $1.5 million a month, which is $18 million a year. They've held that consistently now for more than 3 years with continual growth. And that was the starting, right? Where I put them starting. And that's just on one of their product variation. I helped a premium face mask double conversions from 18% to 36%. After all of the organic, non-GMO, and all-natural certifications in the world couldn't make it sell like it used to, because those, as you'll learn later, are confirmations. Those are not actual positions. That's not superior positioning anymore. I doubled the conversion rate from 20% to 45% on a $39 supplement. Then all the other supplements in that field were selling for $17, $18, while increasing the price to 25% higher than the market average in just 30 days. I took a well-known brand manager's client product to over 8 figures a month in 60 days after he struggled to position it as anything but a copycat in the customer's eyes for years. Okay, this is kind of this game where your competitors pivot and then you pivot, and you pivot, your competitors pivot, right? We're good at creating this like it's post-apocalyptic. So this is what's going to win no matter what, all the time. Nobody can beat it. Okay, and again, it has to do with that subliminal code that actually fuels all of your sales. Okay, and I transformed a natural insect trap from barely breaking even to 7 figures a month in under 60 days. That one even surprised me. I mean, I poured every single ounce of genius I had into it, but when it came back at 7 figures in 2 months later after tanking on the market, that was pretty phenomenal. And the thing is, we didn't change any of the product features or anything about the products, right? I mean, we don't work with products that are not high quality premium products. If you have a bunch of bad reviews because your product is not doing what it's supposed to do because of your manufacturer, formulator, your laboratory, whatever, you obviously need to get that first, right? That needs to be there first, okay? And then we can go through and do this process. So while I've delivered these sales for thousands of product creators in 13 years to the tune of $5 billion, the whole point of this got started because I wanted to help people in 2008 start to feed their families and to build a legacy, because I started a family of my own back then, right? And the funny thing about this is I've been 100% referral based, 100% referral based, no marketing, no outbound marketing, inbound marketing, nothing. And my youngest child of 7 just turned 2, and I have like a nanny, and I'm just like raring to go after, like just taking referrals for a really long time. And I want to help the best products get those best sales they deserve. Okay. So if that's all you need to hear and you want to book a call, you are welcome to book a call at this time. You don't have to watch the rest of this at all. So go ahead and book a call, and there's a short questionnaire you can fill out. And if for some reason I don't think I can help you, I can either refer you to the person who can, or I can just let you know so you're not wasting time on a call. Okay. This really is a consult. Okay. If you're like me and you're ultra curious and you want to hear why this works so well compared to other things floating around out there, or where this misconception is between sales copy and graphics actually sell, not this actual underlying, superior positioning fuel, or how I actually like just the very bare basics, there's a ton behind this, but the very bare basics of how it is that we're creating products that survive in a post-apocalyptic product world, by, using all of these different fuel, these different anchors. Feel free to stick around because I'm going to go through that, okay? Because I really love to teach. I have amazing training. Everybody says my training programs are amazing, and I'm not putting that out there to brag. I'm putting that out there to say there are trainings that you can jump into if you are absolutely obsessed with making sure that your product is framed perfectly for superior positioning and differentiation, like what I do, okay? So first of all, reason number 1, and this is for those of you who are ultra curious like me, okay? Reason number 1 is we know what doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to try to be as nice about this as possible. I don't want anybody to feel bad because everybody is facing this. And honestly, we didn't know what our secret sauce was until a few years ago. And this is why we were so successful, because we were going above and beyond this. Okay. So everyone else seems to be stuck in this old-fashioned positioning that's really easily copied. That means that your customers, who we all know are easily distracted, can tell your product, or if they're just really busy. If they're entrepreneurs like us, they're really busy, right? They can't tell your product from the sea of 18,000 or 30,000 competitors. They can't tell that it's the best product, right? And if they can't tell why it's superior, why would they pay you more, or why would they even bother to buy it when there's something else that's less expensive, or that to them appears to be a better deal, or it has better value, right? Why would they bother to stop and figure out what makes it superior? Why would they stop watching cat videos in the sake of my kids who, like to spend money online, and, give anything about your product a second thought, right? So at this moment, I'm going to ask you to ban the following, like ban is in put a big X across the following as product positioning points. We're going to reframe this. We've discovered that while these used to be great product positioning points, when positioning and differentiation came out as a focal study within the marketing field a few decades ago, they now are considered customer required confirmation. So it's like a checklist. It has to show these things now. It has to have these pieces. This is not what positions it as superior or differentiates it as the one to buy the alpha product amongst your customers, right? So ban these. You can use these words, but these are not what makes your product superior. This is not the code. These are not words that we need to use in the code except for confirmation checkoffs, right? Okay. So if you have your product, and again, this is really long because this is, this study is 13 years in the making. Okay. If you have a premium perfected product that is not selling in competition, I need you to go and take a look at this, whatever it is, all your sales assets, and see what you're using here. Okay. Remember, these are required customer confirmations. I'm going to keep repeating that. If you're using product attributes, right, that anybody else can copy, including all natural, non-GMO, organic, clean, environmentally friendly, high potency, and those are just for the world of in and on the body. If you're saying that it's made of specific materials, if you're using a specific process, if it's easy to copy, that's not going to be a post-apocalyptic superiority anchor that you can use to continue selling your product the second somebody else copies it, right? If you're using product use or application that anybody else can copy. Our blanket is absolutely wonderful when you lay on the couch and you're watching, Netflix and chill or whatever. Okay. If someone else can copy that, that's not a superior positioning point. That's not going to anchor them within that subliminal code to why your product is the only one, is one of a kind, right? The one to buy. Product characteristics that anybody else can copy. If you're using things like the best value and most affordable that's a seriously dangerous one. Okay, seriously dangerous, unless you're in high ticket sales. If you're using best value, most affordable, that is literally one price lowering of your competitors away from creating a downward spiral in your market. And all of a sudden you guys are trying to figure out how to keep your margins. And that's how a lot of people go out of business. They're like, I'm going to price test and I'm going to be the most valuable, the best value, most affordable. No, you want to have the best value by actually subliminally anchoring it and anchoring that trust. You do not want to do it by saying we're the best value. Like, I by far am not the cheapest person you're going to meet out there. There are people who can go out there and try to do what I do, and they're saying they can do it, and they're charging, a couple $1,000s down to like $300 or $400. And it's like, okay. And then they get the results and everybody comes back crying. And honestly, like, I understand where you're at. If you've created the perfect product that you continue to perfect and you know the outcome it generates, right? And you're sitting up there and you're trying to figure out how to explain it. Okay. We've all been in that boat. Okay. So if it's something where if you think that your positioning is the highest quality, or that it's a luxury product, or because of its aesthetics, okay, all they have to do is hire somebody like me to work with that product. And all of a sudden that angle, that positioning, that differentiation is completely lost. Same with most dependable or longest lasting. That is copyable. Somebody can easily copy that technology to make it the most dependable or longest lasting. Benefits to the customer that any other product or company can copy in words or images. Okay. Ways your product satisfies the needs that any other product or company can achieve. The process by which your product is created or formulated that any other company can copy or achieve. And please don't fool yourself into thinking that, well, there's a large barrier to entry financially. If you go and speak to, there are investors pulling billions out right now of the real estate market and putting it towards products. Okay. So, and they'll put it towards your product. If your product is the one that is outselling the other products and already has this, they're happy to do so. However, they have a lot of people out there seeking out these investors saying, okay, we need you to lower this barrier to entry so we can go and, we know this product sells okay. We can make it sell better. So we need you to lower this barrier to entry. And it's just one investor away, guys. You are one investor away from losing that. Okay. From having that barrier to entry being the reason why nobody else is selling what you're selling. Okay, again, think post-apocalyptic product world, right, where everybody else is selling everything and copying everybody else in every other way. So that process, it doesn't count anymore as superior positioning. It can be part of it. It can definitely be a confirmation, but it's the way you frame it, anchor it, and subliminally code it that makes the difference in how it sells. Okay, the materials or ingredients you use that anyone else can access and combine, unless you have an exclusive farm, an exclusive place in the exclusive middle of nowhere that grows an exclusive thing that nobody else in the world can grow or access. And there are armed guards standing guard there. And you don't have to worry about the whole thing with like, I think it was Miracle Grow, or somebody like that, where seeds were blowing across and suddenly they had ownership of all of this. Unless you're in that position, which honestly most people aren't, you are copyable, which means that's not superior positioning. Those are confirmations. Okay. The materials or ingredients you use. Okay, I just said that one. The product class within which you sell your product. Like if you're selling dried milk as both a breakfast substitute and a protein shake, that's great. We can expand your market. That's easy for us to sit down. Well, not easy. Easy is a bad word. We're experts at sitting down and saying, okay, great. So what other channels can we look at to maximize sales? Not just marketing channels, not just platforms, but in what other way can we sell this to solve a different problem than what it's currently selling, right? That's still not product positioning. I only added that one because someone the other day came to me and said, this is product positioning. And I said, that's not. The variety you offer that anybody else can copy. If you're selling kits, if you're selling combinations of anything, and you think, oh, I'm going to add a spatula to this, right? I totally understand that somebody said to do that once upon a time, and pre-apocalyptic product world online totally works. And now all these people who were making a bunch of sales are literally wondering what in the heck happened to their sales overnight. Okay, let's see here. The product performance that anyone else can achieve by investing an amount of time, money, energy, or effort. Again, there are investors, people who contact investors. The investors are like, okay, hey, great. Yeah, we'll lower the barrier to entry. And suddenly they can create exactly what you did, right? My thoughts. So the efficiency that anybody else can achieve by investing time, money, or effort through their product. The lifestyle it helps your customer achieve. That is so easily copied by someone like me. That is so easily copied. The identity status that helps your customer experience. That is easily copied. Okay. That used to be something like, it used to be, okay, think of like, Mercedes versus Ford. It's not the same thing anymore. They all have their own markets. They all have all this stuff that I'm talking about are the things that this subliminal sauce in a way is what an advertising agency that these large companies, these big brands go to and pay them 20 and $30 million to execute and to create. Okay. And they know that it's not their product that is selling. Their product doesn't matter. Okay. As long as the basic checkpoints are here, like what we're discussing, their product really doesn't matter. As long as it's of premium quality and it delivers the same results over and over again, they know that spending $20 and $30 million means that they can go out and continue to survive another day. Most people who are selling online are people like my family, and we don't sell online because that would be competing with our clients, and we see that as a conflict of interest. Okay, used to sell online. Once it became a conflict of interest, sold our brands, made good money off of it. Right? We don't sell online, but these ad agencies, we're doing the exact same thing. Okay, over here, and we're doing it for people who want to build a legacy for their family. Right? I'm going to go back to my list of things to ban. We're almost done. That was a little tangent. Sometimes I go off on that. I'm really passionate about what I do, obviously. So the abilities that it helps the customer achieve, right? If anyone can copy those, that's not a superior positioning point, because the second somebody else can claim it and can copy it, it doesn't work. Okay. These are required customer confirmations in that subconscious mind's checklist. So yes, it has to be part of that subliminal code, but these are not superior positioning and differentiation points. These are not going to get you to that $1.5 million a month in sales as one of 20,000 people selling a silver object that happens to have layers or something inside of it that you screw into a shower filter or a shower head that makes your hair shiny and your skin stop itching. Okay. And again, it's the way that we position it, the way that we frame it. And we have a very proven way of doing that to the tune of $5 billion. I just quit counting at $5 billion. Like I just stopped a couple years ago counting because the number sounds so ridiculous. I just stopped counting, right? So these points, previously called positioning points, they simply render you at this point in time as a copycat in the eyes of your customers, because your customers don't know you and they don't know your competitors. And, it's really nice to think, well, I created a product and it should just sell, right? Okay, great. That's really cool. You created something cool and now somebody else can copy it. And then what are you going to do, right? It's that post apocalyptic product world where suddenly everybody's playing the game and everybody's claiming everything. Okay. The number one reason is that I know that it doesn't work. And really, the second reason is I know what does. Okay. I've proven what does. I I tried to put together a training program on this, and it ended up taking 36 hours to cover the basic foundationals of the very core of what this is. Okay. And after that 36 hours, students had to invest an additional 12 hours per class and still have not reached the level that what we're able to produce here. Right. And they're pretty amazing at it, but they haven't reached that level. So I started around the age of 6 studying persuasion. And then I switched into conversational hypnosis, subliminal psychological sales triggers, covert messaging, NLP, neural marketing, anything that it goes well beyond direct response sales copy, anything that goes well beyond like psychological triggers that you might read in a book, anything that goes beyond a green button, right? Or like the idea of creating an ocean of one. We go well beyond that to actually implementing it. Okay. This is not theoretical. This is done over 4,000 times. And what I've done is boil it down to 52 of these differentiation triggers and positioning anchors, right? That create that subliminal code that speaks to your customer's mind. And there's more than, if you think about it, there's more than 2.5 million permutations of ways to combine these to sell a product. So it's not like we're going to run out of them, but it also takes a lot of market background and understanding statistics. And I worked with National Science Foundation. That kind of gave me the edge on that, right? It takes understanding the marketing side and if there is actually a market out there for what you're selling, and if there's really not, how do we reposition it so that this thing you've already spent a bunch of money and poured a ton of time and effort and energy into creating is in the right space where people actually need it. Okay. So, so again, we can quickly hone in on this far faster than 6 to 12 months those top 5 ad agencies take, right? And we don't do it with the charging you millions or, we also guarantee results, which is very different. And again, reason number 3, I think is really, really, really important. Okay. I might have to move this here real quick. Let me see here. Okay. So we went on reason number 2. Reason number 3, I think is one of the most important, honestly. It's not just that I've studied this for, upwards of 35 years, and this became my obsession at a very young age. And it's not that I've implemented it across all different product types and service types and in political campaigns and all that other fun stuff. It's really that as a lifelong business owner and a mom at a 7, I understand that you have to make really difficult decisions on how you invest your money, but more importantly, if you're like me, how you invest your time. Okay. As a top 1% sales focused executive creative director, as a hypnotic sales copywriter who was internationally ranked, I know, and as, someone who manages a graphics team and all of these different things, and also has to keep up on what's new on the market and what's going on and what's going to sell and what isn't, and all of this other stuff, and raise 7 kids and run a business full time, and write books and put out training programs. I totally get it. I know how your team should be implementing this pinnacle positioning fuel, right? And I can jump in and direct or consult or power things up if needed. So you're not just reinventing the wheel. Okay. So clients say I'm a genius at this. And so, you may not need this genius right now. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's totally up to you. If you want this fuel and you want to finally understand why it is that certain products are like they're the identical, really, if you break it down to other products, but they are smoking you or they're smoking other competition, and you don't want to get caught up in this like post-product apocalypse where everybody's suddenly failing out there. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, especially if you love the idea of making an extra 50,000 to 200,000 this year, and the next and the next and the next and the next, this is a lifetime value thing, all from what I would call a comparatively tiny, and I'm sure you'd agree, investment, because it delivers a lifetime value, right? If you want to get that 10X, and if you know that trading something like $20,000 to do something like this and figure this out, trading that for $200,000 extra every year, if that's your thing and that makes sense all day to you, then I would definitely say that booking a call is going to be something that you might want to think about doing. Again, our time is, there's really, we did a poll. Oh my gosh. It was last week, did a poll. And this is kind of what helped me put this out here, was because I found out that there's nobody else in the world who can do this, that also has the FDA compliance background, the National Science Foundation background, and the results. right? I just automatically assumed in my own mom world that I'm going along, in my own mom and entrepreneur world that has been super busy, that I'm going along, and there's a lot of other people out here who can do what it is that we do and deliver these results. There aren't. Okay. They can't do this. A lot of the top ad agencies or even the smaller ad agencies out there are still focusing on features, benefits, targeted traffic, and markets. And they're wondering why it is they're failing. And it's not their fault because they haven't figured out they're in a completely different post apocalyptic product world. You know what I mean? So if you know the size of the money that you're envisioning, right? And you know, like if you have a family legacy plan, like what you're trying to do, and you know what you need to see in your bank account to make that happen. And you know, you already have enough that if you were to invest in something like this is not going to be your Hail Mary pass. Okay. This is not a Hail Mary pass. This is my last $5,000. I'm going to bug you every single day to see where we're at in this process. This is literally for people who have wisely saved their money and invested correctly, right? I'm not going to work with people who are like, okay, if I don't pay this, if I pay this, I need you to make this by next week because, otherwise I can't pay my mortgage. If you're in that position, keep working on whatever it is that you can work on. We have training videos out there all over the place. There's a lot of things you can piece together, but focus on making sure everything your family has everything they need first, right? But if you're at that point that you're ready financially and physically and literally emotionally, like you're ready to be over that frustration and you're ready to 10x what it is, make 10 times what it is. Sorry. Phone call always rings during that time. If you know you're ready to do that, and that you want to make $1 million every month on just one product or far, far more, or even if you're like, okay, I'm just now starting out doing this and I've done 5 products and I want to take my next one to 30,000 a month, in the first 2 months, and I want to see how this works, feel free to book a call. There should be a call link around here. There's a button. This video is going out all over the place. And so I'm sure that my team is probably putting it everywhere. So what I'm going to tell you is look for a button that allows you to book a call, select your consult time, complete a short questionnaire, and then I will automatically cancel if I can't help, right? So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And if I can, I'll refer you to somebody who can, because sometimes people have problems that are more easily fixed by other experts, right? It's like, okay, you've already got this great positioning here, but your graphics are absolutely like, they're not showing it. And here's what you need to do, right? So again, if you get a cancellation from me, that's why. Sometimes I have to reschedule because again, 7 kids, I have a great support staff in house, but that doesn't mean that sometimes they don't need their mama, right? That's why we all started these businesses, was to grow a legacy for our family, right? So I'll try to it's a rare occasion, but it may happen. But I won't tell you the space is limited, because if you're seeing this, you're already referred or invited, or you somehow stumbled upon this, and congratulations, we're being really specific about who we invite, but feel free to jump in if you see this. But no matter what, guys, I really do wish you all the best out there in this post-apocalyptic product world that we're facing right now. And I want to say thank you for, watching this. And I really hope you gleaned, at least 10 times the value from this than anything else you would have otherwise spent your time doing. And even if it means that you start looking at your products differently, as it's not the product it's selling, it's everything else around it. It's that subliminal code. I will feel like I have done my job. Okay. Thank you again so much. This is Diane Borsler Henderson signing off. And I look forward to speaking with those of you I can help the most. Have an amazing day.